it's good to imitate good preaching. And so you...
And that's an interesting statement, because a lot of preachers feel guilty imitating.
Oh, we ought to imitate.
And we ought to imitate, okay, and we all do. It's important to choose good people to emulate, to imitate.
It is, and there are hundreds of different kinds of examples. I think the language of plagiarism can be deeply misleading. You ought to use good preachers' language. You ought, if that's plagiarism, do it.
I remember Rick Lisher pointing out, that in classical rhetoric, you spent 12 years memorizing other people's speeches before you did your own and all. John Wesley sent out his traveling preachers with 52 sermons of his, saying, preach these before you attempt any of your own. It's important. Maybe it's recognizing everybody is imitating somebody. And I think the way you do a craft is hands-on, looking at a master do it, looking over the shoulder of somebody working it, examining the product and saying, gosh, that really works. Or, that didn't work, and I wonder why.
I can't remember what book, but I have a book where I talk about the relationship between craft and language.
Yeah.
When you lay brick, it's not only skill to lay the brick, but it's the knowing the right language. You cut a head joint, for example. You spread the mud on the course, and the craft wouldn't be the same without the language. That it is an extraordinary language transforming proposal to look at the world this way and then that way. And so you want to preach in a manner that when those that have been listening say, I'd never thought of that.
I like the way you said, you began by saying, try to help myself and others. To me, a good sermon is one of the questions sometimes I ask listening to a sermon is, I wonder what the preacher is trying to talk him or herself into. I wonder what the preacher, what was the problem that the preacher is attempting to address.
You try to come up with lines that are unforgettable.